Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you will subscribe, hit that like button, hit the bell, leave me a comment, and we'll get on with it here. So, I've been meaning to talk about this for a while. How did I meet my wife? Well, it's a long story. So this may be broke up into two parts. So anyway, I have a friend, his name's Gerald, and he got a job working in a shipyard in China. While he was in China, he met a woman and fell in love, got married. So he came back to Canada and brought his wife Ada, and he invited me over for supper one night. Dumplings. So I went over. We started to have a nice supper, a few beers, chit chat. His wife Ada looks at me and goes, "So Kevin, where's your wife?" I said, "Oh, I'm not married." I said, "I'm divorced. I don't have a wife." She said, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." I said, "No, don't be sorry. Trust me. That's a good thing." So a little bit time goes on. She goes, "Okay, so where's your girlfriend then?" I said, "I don't have a girlfriend either." "Oh." She stops. She looks at me. She goes, "You gay?" No, Ada, I'm not gay. I just haven't met anybody that I really want to do this with again. Okay. A couple minutes go by. She stops again. She looks at me. She goes, "This not right." I said, "What's not right, Ada?" She goes, "It's not right that you single." She goes, "I find you nice Chinese wife." I laughed. I said, Ada, I said, if you can find somebody as nice as you, I said, I'm all for it. Thanks very much. So anyway, the night goes on, a few more beers, time to leave. I start heading for the door. Next thing I know, I get pulled off to the side by Gerald, and he kind of leans in close and whispers to me, and he goes, "You've done it now." And I'm like, "Excuse me, what?" He goes, "You have no idea what you got yourself into." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about, Gerald?" He goes, "Ada, she's going to try and find you a Chinese wife." So I laughed, and I went, "I kind of meant it, Gerald." He said, "If you can find somebody nice like her, I'm all for it." He goes, "No, no, 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 you don't understand." He says, "Ada is a matchmaker." I went, "What?" He goes, "A Chinese matchmaker. This is what she does in China. She puts people together and gets them married." I said, "Well, then that's great." I said, "This should be a piece of cake then." He's like, "Oh, Kevin. Anyway, I leave, I go home. No big deal. Go to work. Get a message on my phone, "Coming over for supper." Oh, yeah, okay, sure, I got nothing better to do. So I show up at their house again, knock on the door. They have an open concept house, so when you walk in the door, the living room is right there, TV's right there, everything. So I knock on the door, they open the door, I walk in, and I hear, "Oh, ni hao, Kevin, ni hao." And I'm like, "What the?" And I look up at the TV, and here's this woman on the TV, and she's waving at me. And she's going, "Hi, Kevin, hi, Kevin." And I'm like, and I kind of look over at Gerald, and he looks at me and goes, "I told you." Ada had already contacted somebody in China, and this was our first meeting, less than 24 hours after I had been here for supper. So it was a little, no, it wasn't a little awkward. It was very awkward. She didn't speak any English. I didn't speak any Mandarin. So it was through Ada. And anyway, this lasted for like an hour. So when we're over with, Gerald looks at me and he goes, I warned you. I tried to warn you. Sorry, it's a bit windy here. I hope you can hear me." And I said, "Yeah, that was kind of awkward." So anyway, I said to Ada, I said, sorry, Ada. I said, I kind of prefer somebody who had at least a little knowledge of the English language so that we could communicate. She said, oh, okay, okay. So, next night, same thing happened. Supper. Somebody on the TV. Different woman again this time. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, eventually they go back to China. My interviews with Chinese ladies continue. Honestly, this went on for probably 14 months. Ada or Gerald would contact me and say, oh, we've got somebody we want you to meet. Now, at least along this line, she started to figure out more of who I might be interested with, and so the people she was introducing me to became more along my lines, and talking with them stretched out, became longer and longer and longer, and they actually became more of like online dates. So anyway, it got to the point where the last woman I was talking to, we actually talked for about 3 months solid, but it was one of those things where I was like, no, I don't think there's a spark there or anything like this. Now, when I would talk to these women, they would talk to me on Skype, Chinese program called WeChat, emails, and they also, some of them wanted like dating apps, things like that. So I was talking to this last woman on a dating app, because this is how she liked to do it, and I kind of was like, I'm sorry, I don't think this is gonna really work out. Anyway, right after that, I was introduced to this younger girl. And when I saw her, I was kind of like, oh yeah, she's pretty good. Now, I should mention first that when you're on these Chinese dating app sites, every woman is literally photoshopped gorgeous. They might not be, but they're photoshopped gorgeous. And I kept thinking, they all can't be this good looking. Like, you know, they're doing their jobs over there to get the photos just right. So anyway, I saw this photo of this young woman, and she was sitting on the floor in front of her laptop with her little dog between her legs, t-shirt, shorts, and I was like, wow, this is actually a real person. You know, it's not Photoshop, this is just who she is. Then I looked at her age and I was like, she's way younger than I am, but you know what? I want to say at least the fact that, hey, it's nice to see somebody who's actually real on here. So I mentioned to her in a short little thing about that. Sent it away, never thought nothing of it. Well, then Ada contacts me, and she says, did you meet anybody? And I said, yeah, well, I saw this one girl, but she's pretty younger than me, and I don't think that's going anywhere, and stuff like that. And she goes, well, let me contact her and see what's going on. So anyway, in the meantime, I got a response from her. And this went on for about a week. I would answer her questions, and she would respond back to me. I finally said to her on one of these, I said, you do realize there's a bit of an age gap here, that I'm a bit older than you are. And she comes back and she goes, well, age is just a number. I like who you are. Oh, okay. I said, well, in that case, I said, do you mind if I have somebody give you a chat? She says, no, not at all, no problem. So anyway, Ada contacted her, and when Ada got back to me, she said, yes, this young woman is interested in you, and she has a good job, and she's got a good background, and all this other stuff that a matchmaker would go through to check your potential wife, I guess. So I said, okay, great. So we started chatting. And the chatting turned into once or twice a week to once every day, to the point where it was in the morning and in the afternoon when she got off work. And this was going on for 6 months. And we got to know each other pretty well, and she asked a lot of personal questions. I asked a lot of personal questions. We got to know each other pretty good that way. I told her, I said, look, I said, don't ask any question that you don't want the answer to. I said, because I'm going to tell you the truth. And she said, okay. So anyway, about July, about 6 months after we started talking on a regular basis, I call her up on Skype, and she's quiet. And I'm like, oh, here it comes, right? She's finally figured out, I'm over here, she's over there, age difference, right? Here comes the, Dear John letter. So anyway, so I thought, okay, straight to the point. I said, you seem awful quiet. I said, is there a problem? She goes, yes. Okay, here. She goes, I thought you liked me. I said, yeah, I do like you. Why? She goes, well, why haven't you wanted to come see me? Oh, I said, I'd love to come see you. She goes, well, she said, if you really want to see if this is going to be serious, we have to meet. So you would have to come over here to China. I said, okay, fine. I said, when do you want me to come over? She looks at me. She goes, September 27th to October 8th. Whew, that's a pretty straightforward time frame. I'm like, okay, no problem. She says, okay. And we finished our conversation. Away she goes. So I get offline with her. I go straight to Air Canada website, find a flight, book it, pay for it, do all of that stuff. The next night, or the next morning, I should say, when she gets online, I said, well, okay. I said, I'm coming in on that Friday night. I said, I won't get in until 9 o'clock. I said, are you going to be able to meet me at the airport? Because I said, I have no clue what I'm going to do in China by myself. She looks at me. She goes, you booked a plane? And now I'm like, oh my God. She was joking. And I said, yeah, I thought you wanted me to book a plane. She goes, yes, I did. She goes, do you have the ticket? I said, yes, I have the ticket. She goes, can I see the ticket? Well, yeah, okay. I got to figure out how to send it to you, but I do. So finally I sent it to her. And she comes back to me and she goes, wow, you're really going to come? And I said, well, yeah, of course I'm going to come. I said, why is this such a big deal? She goes, well, to tell you the truth, she said, other foreign men have messaged me and said they were going to come, and then they never show up. Oh, I said, yeah, well, I'm not one of them guys. I said, if I tell you something, that's what's going to happen. She says, okay. So you're really going to come? I said, yes, I'm coming. I'm going to show up on that Friday night. You better be there. Yeah, no problem. So now, the week of when I'm supposed to leave, I'm getting ready. It's like night before I have to fly, so I'm not going to be able to talk to her for a while because I'll be in transit. So I'm talking to her, and she says, you really are coming, right? I said, yes, I really am coming. I'm getting on the bus to the airport tomorrow morning. And then, you know, it's like 15 hours, so it's going to be a day or so before I get there. She says, okay. She says, well, I can't wait to meet you first in person. And I said, well, that's good, same here. So that was the start of my first date. And the next morning, I got on the bus, 6:30 in the morning, got to Pearson, went through baggage, checkout, check-in, and all that stuff, got into the airport. Now my flight was at 2 o'clock. So I'm waiting around, and I hear an announcement that AC001 is delayed 15 minutes for boarding. Okay, that's fine. So, sit there reading. About 15 minutes later, another announcement. Sorry, phone call. Another announcement. It's going to be delayed again. Third announcement, about a half an hour after that, we're changing planes. Okay, well, I'm glad you're going to change planes, because I don't want to get on the plane if you're not happy with it. So we finally get up in the air, and I start to put the time together, and I'm like, we're like 2 hours behind here for leaving. I only have a 2-hour layover in Japan. Uh-oh. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there, because this has gone on long enough. And you have to tune in to find out what happened, because I didn't end up in China. Anyway, have a good one. Please subscribe, hit that like, leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you on what happened. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.